Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Retro Stash Repairs. My name is Miguel. Today I'm going to be showing y'all guys how to fix an SP screen with the water damage problem. And what I mean by water damage is these screens, over time, you might get one where it has water damage and the films inside, part of the films inside, with the water over time, it just permanently damages the films inside. As you can see here are two examples. And this is only part of the films because there's several films inside the LCD, like behind it. So, and I'm going to be showing y'all guys what the problem is with this one. Just a demonstration of how it looks like. And that would only apply to water damage that, it's only the films where there's, it got a little water damage inside and that's it. But because the water itself can also damage the LCD, and if the LCD is damaged, then it's a goner. But if that's the only problem, then you can actually replace them and it'll fix the issue. The thing is as well is the best thing I found is just to replace them with another SP screen, that's broken or for parts or whatever, because there's really no way to clean these. I've tried IPA, soapy water, a few different things, vinegar, nothing really helps. If anything, IPA just makes it worse because it's plastic. But I'm going to be showing y'all guys what it looks like. I'm going to be using today Mario Kart as an example. And there it is. Looks really bad. And you can see the biggest damage on the white screen itself. So I'm going to be fixing that. And before I can dive in, I'm going to go ahead and show y'all guys, basically a prerequisite of something to know before you attempt this yourself. So technically there's like 3 different kind of OEM screens. And if back then you bought a Game Boy, there's 2. But I say technically 3 because there's also an aftermarket version. So, and if I can find the other one. All right, here I have 2 for parts, and they're both OEM. But if you can see, and the one I'm going to be fixing also, it's a white ribbon cable version. But there's also a brown ribbon cable version. And the difference is, with the ribbon cable itself, one is white, one is brown. And then it has these 3 pads on the back. The white version only has 2. And my bad, I forgot to mention, this applies to the AGS 101 screens, because AGS 001, they look completely different. They're not backlit, they're just front lit. And you really want to fix an 001 screen with those issues. I mean, you're not going to have those issues because that one doesn't have films. It just has, the LEDs front and then the LCDs. But even if there's a problem, like the ribbon cable or anything else on the 001, might as well upgrade to one of these or an IPS screen. And what I mean by one of these, because there is a way to, these won't work with an AGS 001 motherboard, and I can probably show you that, guys, later in a different video, but there's a way you can get a 001 motherboard working with an AGS 101 screen. You just have to buy a PCB for it and a couple of parts, but let me know, guys, in the comments if y'all want to see that later on. But yeah, so, and then these are the 2 different types. The brown tab, white tab, and the third kind is going to be, I think I lost it. Okay, it's right here. Third kind would be an aftermarket AGS 00, not 001, my bad, 101, AGS 101 screen. This is the third OEM kind, and technically it is OEM because it's made, back then when they're being more mass produced, they were made by the same company, same manufacturer. The main biggest difference, and as you can see, it also has a white tab. The main biggest difference is that it doesn't have the rubber black pad on the back, as well as that foam adhesive tape in between the screen. It just comes blank, but technically it's the same screen. But since it's not OEM, it doesn't have those extra perks to it. And, I've tried these a few times and they're not bad at all. I mean, they're actually maybe a little nicer because they the lens sits like closer to the LCD. But it is nice to have that foam backing because I've noticed with these, with even a tiny bit of pressure, it kind of sticks to the LCD, the lens does. So, and I just want to explain that real quick because try not to take too much time, because you have to know this, because between the brown tab and the white tab, if you're going to try to attempt this, you'll have to get the right kind of LCD, the parts. Let's say you're wanting to repair a brown tab, the one with 3 tabs, and you can also tell a difference in the ribbon cable. The brown tab has like tinier traces in the middle. It kind of like similar to one I fixed in a previous video with the torn ribbon cable where I fixed it. Whichever one you're going to fix, you have to replace the lenses inside with one that's the same, because these two have different types of lenses inside. And I have tried it before. I mean, it does work, but the only way it works is if you try the lenses from these and these. And I've tried the other way around. It doesn't really look all that great. And even with that, when you take the white tab lenses and put them in a brown tab, you can clearly see the LEDs shining up. So it's still not that great. The best solution is to get the parts from another screen. If it's broken or whatever, you might have it laying around. And if you don't, then you can always buy an IPS. Those are some of the nicest option today. But this is just, in case you have the parts for it, and in case you want to attempt it and you have one that has the same issue, then I'm going to demonstrate how to fix that today. So, and I already took the time to take some of the ones inside another one I had for parts, since I'm going to take apart this one, so I don't really need to do it twice in the video. But I'm going to go ahead and start that. What you want to do is, there's going to be like tabs on each side on the metal casing. You want to lift each side. And then you can tell this, is slightly rusted. So that definitely had water inside. But luckily, the LCD still works. So after you get those 2 tabs, you want to go in here. I'd recommend like a tiny flathead if you have one, or try to look for a special type of, metal prying tool. And you want to start prying on the edges, being very careful, because you can damage the LCD and break it, and your whole attempt to repair it will be pretty much ruined. And it did happen to me once, but on a 001. Gladly it wasn't a 101 screen. Probably make a video on that, the main differences between those 2 types of screens. the two different types of models. All right, now that you have that off, go ahead and put that to the side. Try to keep the top clean. My surface is pretty decently clean. I'll just leave it like that. And usually when I do soldering or anything else, I put plastic on it to not accidentally scratch it or anything or burn it. But I don't think I really need to do that right now. So when you get this part, now you have to do the same thing with this back aluminum casing. So what you want to do is start from this side, and the same thing, there's going to be another tab here, another tab here. You want to lift those two slightly. You don't want to overbend. Then start prying it up. And then these, there's like little indentions where you can stick your prying tool through on each side. And then you want to go slow and very careful, especially with this part, because this, your tool can slightly slip or whatever you're using and then scratch or break the screen. If you accidentally scratch it, it's not the end of the world, because you can replace the polarizing film. That's what you'd probably end up scratching. But it's a whole different ball game. It gets more complicated and time consuming. But it is doable, and I plan to do that in the future. Alright, so now that I have it apart, I'm going to slowly bend it back, being very careful because you have these tiny ribbon cables, which control the backlight, and one controls the LCD itself. Then go ahead and take those out. With these white tabs, you'll usually have 3 films. So there's on this one, there's shiny reflective film, and then like a frosted diffusing light film, and then the plastic kind of lens that diffuses the light itself. So you have those 3. Technically 4, because I was forgetting about this back one. This makes it a lot more reflective as well, the very back one. So yeah, that's basically 4 films. And because I believe the brown tab LCDs will have even more than that. I don't remember the exact number, but for sure it has more. Go ahead and compressed canned air. Clean it if you have to. I'm not going to worry about too much it being super clean, because I can always go back and fix it. But yeah, if you're trying to attempt this and you want to try to keep it as clean as possible, blow some air on it, get rid of any dust particles. Now I'm going to put the new ones on. Since I didn't really take them off that cleanly, I'll be dusting each one as it goes. So the first one that goes, if y'all can remember, was the really reflective one, the frosted one, the clear plastic diffusing light film, and then the reflective film on the very back. Make sure you get it on the right orientation. And you'll know just because each side is different. This one was like breaking off on me. Or at least that end was. See, there's like it looks like a little particle, but I'm not going to worry too much about it. Then next is the frosted one. Then the clear diffusing plastic. All right, and finally, the really shiny reflective back film. And then there's a little area here where it's kind of sticky. If it's still sticky, then just press down. I've opened some where they're not at all sticky anymore, so just be careful putting it back together. Now we'll go ahead and fold it back. Being careful with those tiny ribbon cables. Go ahead and snap it into place. And what I like to do is just with my nail or a tool or something, just push this back just so it won't come out as easily again. Go ahead and clean the top part. And then finally, go ahead and put the lens back on. Again, push the 2 tabs. And there you have it. Hopefully those lenses make it look a lot better. I noticed there's a couple like dust specks in there, but I can take care of that later. Alright, let's connect it back up and see how it looks. Oh yeah, that's way better. Yeah, it looks perfect now. Yeah, it looks flawless. Even though it's not flawless, I know I left maybe a couple of specks, but that's a really good thing about these AGS 101 screens. It doesn't have to be super perfectly clean to look good. So let's go ahead and see what it looks like again with that white. There's maybe slight shadowing right here, but you can't really tell, especially when you turn on the brightness setting, it just goes away. Yeah, that looks awesome. So, well, that pretty much does it for this video. If y'all want to continue seeing this content, make sure to like, subscribe, and don't forget to push that notification bell button so you won't miss out any of my future content. Thank you for watching again. See you next time.